Welcome to my presentation with the topic Exploring Voice Assistant Risks and Potential with Technology-Based Users. The content of this presentation is as follows. First, I'd like to give you a short introduction about voice assistants and this pilot study. Then I want to talk about the methodology, the questionnaire, the procedure and the participants. After that, I'd like to present the results and discussion. Finally, the conclusion and future work, and at least the references. Introduction. Voice assistants are integrated in many devices and systems. Analysts predict great future prognosis. There is a wide range of application, for example, healthcare, automotive and smart home. We consider in this study the general purpose assistants, which belong to the group of adaptive voice vision assistants. Trendy examples are Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant. You can find various definitions of voice assistants and voice user interfaces differently used in literature. A good choice is according to Michael Cohen, mentioned in many publications. A voice user interface is what a person interacts with when communicating with spoken language application. Let's look at the voice assistant's adoption rate of internet users regarding a German study with more than 3,000 participants. Contrary to forecasts, voice assistants are generally used very rarely in Germany. European countries like Italy, Spain, and the United Kingdom are particularly advanced in adoption. In the global view, the USA is far ahead of Europe and Germany, and even more Asian countries like China and India. For this reason, in our pilot study, we surveyed technology-based users focusing on interaction behavior, frequency of use, and concerns, with a goal: how the target group uses voice assistants to explore possibilities and improvements. Methodology. A German survey from 2019 shows that 16 to 24-year-old Germans are allocated as strong technology-based users with great voice assistants user experiences and diverse usage pattern, but in the same way with the most significant concerns about using. We expect to find higher potential for improvement in this target group and, regarding their significant concerns, discover reasons that might keep potential users from using. Therefore, we formulated the following research questions. How frequently are voice assistants used? In which context does the target group use voice assistants? What are their concerns? And what improvements do they propose? Questionnaire. Existing questionnaires need an effort to adapt to a given research question. There are various types of questionnaires available, for example, subjective assessment of speech system interfaces, measuring different voice user interface parameters, or user experience questionnaire, measuring usability and user experience, focusing on graphical user interfaces, and the UEQ Plus modular framework, published 2019 by Martin Schrepp and Jörg Tomaszewski. The UEQ Plus contains 16 scales to measure user experience. A well-known definition of user experience is ISO 9241-210, which considered user experience as a holistic concept that includes all types of reactions before, during, and after use. The UEQ Plus scales can be combined to cover a given research question. But the 3 new scales for voice quality have been developed this year, are not validated so far. For this reason, we decided to design a questionnaire for our pilot study, which contains qualitative and quantitative elements. to explore voice user interfaces and its parameters, usability, and user experience. The questionnaire was evaluated in 2 pretests and is available in the original German language and in English translation at ResearchGate. The study was conducted between March and April 2019 with students of the University of Applied Sciences Emden-Leer. We distributed the paper-pencil questionnaire in the German language in different seminars of 3 technical courses: electrical engineering, computer science, and media technology. 127 persons participated voluntarily, but 12 were excluded because of more than 2 missing responses. We have 115 participants in total, with about 80% male and 20% females, and average age of 23 years. The imbalance distribution of gender is similar to other German studies. Women currently seem to use voice assistants less frequently. Our preliminary study delivers useful and reliable results because we are in the line with the previous literature regarding our target group. Results. Comparison of the availability and the use of voice assistants. The dark gray bars show the availability. 14 participants have no access to voice assistants. The light bars display that 101 participants have access to at least one voice assistant. 52 participants currently use one or more. 49 participants did not use any. Google Assistant is the most often used voice assistant with 29 users, followed by Alexa with 16 and Siri with 13 users. How frequently are voice assistants used in this target group? 61% are intensive users. They have a usage time of several times a day to several times a week. 39% are occasional users and have approximately weekly to approximately monthly usage time. Technology-based Germans are intensive voice assistant users. Comparing to other studies, Tas et al. From 2019, a German study with more than 3,000 participants shows 31% with a rather frequent use. Splendid Research identifies 30% of intensive use. The compared surveys made a similar subdivision to make a statement on the frequency of use and to define meaningful user groups. The large share of 61% of intensive users in our study confirms the expectations of a high frequency of use by the selected target group. In which context does the target group use voice assistants? Participants have evaluated 4 typical voice assistant use cases, each at home and on the road, as well as the dictation and voicemail function in general. The figure shows that media selection in the domestic environment is the preferred application of this target group. The American long-term study from Bentley et al. 2018 shows that in a daily voice assistant use, 40% of the requests are for music. Due to the small sample size and the wide spread of answers, the confidence intervals are not small enough to make a reliable statement for the entire target group. Since this was a preliminary study, we need to gather more data to make further valid statements in the future. What are their concerns regarding data protection and privacy? Main concerns when using voice assistants in our target group are user data misuse and the possibility of monitoring. About 37% of the users are concerned that the data could be misused, and about 40% suspect that the devices could be used for monitoring. Similar concerns relating to data protection are also shown in the German BVDW study. As a result, our target group, despite more intensive use and express more significant concerns about monitoring and data misuse. What improvements do they propose for voice assistants? We have collected in our survey answers about the overall opinion, independent from the brand, about risks and opportunities. We compared users and non-users, providing 4 categories: speech intelligibility, response quality, additional forms of interaction, and the protection of privacy. The figure shows the comparison of users and non-users. The y-axis has plotted the 7-point Likert scale results in the numeric range between -3 not applicable and +3 applicable. We compare the means between -3 and +3 for the different questions. The confidence intervals are not small enough to make a reliable statement because of the small sample size and the widespread of answers. But let's have a look at speech recognition and better protect privacy in detail. Privacy and protection shows the highest score for improvements. Then we can identify scores regarding speech recognition, 1.6 for users and 1.8 for non-users. Privacy concerns make it difficult to improve speech recognition because we need probably more data, for example, to understand the intention of the user without a special formulation. Our results are also in this case in the line with the existing literature that the technology-based target group expresses negative thoughts towards data protection and speech intelligibility. The quality of accurate command execution depends currently on the ability to understand the context. For example, the user. Siri, how many inhabitants does Hamburg have? Siri. In 2019, the population of Hamburg was 1 million and so on. User. And in Seville? Siri. I found this online about and in Seville. The more information available to the voice assistant system, the more accurately it can react. At the same time, this means that more data is collected and transmitted, which increases the user's concern about data protection and privacy. There is probably a correlation between the privacy concerns and speech intelligibility, because queries relating to voice assistants are problematic in repetitions and refinement. This could be a possible explanation. Conclusion and future work. In summary, we can identify as the result of our pilot study a broad potential for improvement. Non-users could become users if privacy and speech intelligibility are enhanced as a priority. On one side, we have much proportion of intensive use, and on the other side, deep concerns about privacy in our target group. Future work includes the collection of more data from different user groups to validate our results and to understand the potential user groups, for example, consumer versus professional use. Therefore, we want to explore power or routine users with structured interviews and observations. Finally, we plan to apply the UEQ+ framework with the new scales for voice quality. And here we have the references. This is the end of my presentation. If you are interested in this topic, please have a look at the paper Exploring Voice Assistant Risks and Potential with Technology-Based Users by Andreas M. Klein, Andreas Hindax, Maria Rauschenberger, and Jörg Tomaszewski. Thank you very much for your attention.